Bang.
Hello, hello,
Bang.
hello. Hi, people. What's up? It is Friday night, which you know what that means. It's Know Your Role, our SmackDown post show right here on Body Slam Net. Miss Chrissy looks a little different. I don't know who this is over here.
Yeah,
Hey,
what's going on?
hey, it's Adam again.
It's me. How's it
Adam,
going, everybody?
also known as at This Is Goober, one of my favorite people, one of your favorite people. I'm so glad to have you
Thank
back
you.
because Chrissy was called to work tonight.
Oh,
Her real job.
no.
The real job. And oh, I
We
have a
got it
visitor.
running. Yeah.
A visitor. A little hypes. Anyway, Adam, thank you so much for filling in. How have you been? How's it going?
Life is good. I appreciate you having me back on again, Stephanie. Life is good. I'm here in lovely, scenic Wildwood, New Jersey, and it is gorgeous here. It was 75 or 80 degrees today. It was just stunningly beautiful. So we're having a nice time down here. So glad to have been able to make it and join you again to talk some wrestling. And I'm excited. I'm looking
Absolutely.
forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, it's again great having you. I don't my toddler is wandering.
Well, listen, I tweeted
Yes.
earlier about oh, there he is. What's up? I tweeted earlier about the number 3 biggest hater of 2024, my son Daniel.
Yes.
There's a very good chance he'll be running out here at some point. So,
Is
just
there a
keep that in
story
mind. But
there? I feel like there's a
so
story.
yeah, so we could start about that. We could talk about CM Punk in a little bit, but like so obviously, as we know, like the biggest hater in 2024 was Kendrick Lamar. Like there's no one who hates anyone more this year and maybe ever than Kendrick Lamar. I think a close second to that would be CM Punk. Daniel is the kind of kid who is just a troll to troll, like for the sake of trolling, right? So, like
Gotcha.
for example, like he just like the little shit that he does, he just like so like as soon as my oldest son James says he has to go to the bathroom, he's like, "Oh, I gotta pee." Like without even missing a beat, Danny's like, I could really go for some water right now. I want to turn the faucet on. I'm gonna turn the shower on. And he just like goes freaking
Oh,
crazy about it, right? And he just
oh no.
hates like every time James says something, he loves something, he's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, you're an idiot. Like, it is the funniest. Like, even this Obi-Wan Kenobi, like I bought James this Obi-Wan Kenobi doll for Christmas. And
Uh-huh.
Danny will literally take the hair back and flip it back like this so he looks like a ball guy. He'll go ta-da and just like throw it in his face and just like relentless. And it drives James freaking nuts. So like he is, I
That's
would say,
wonderful.
number 3 biggest hater in of
It's giving me
2024. But
Not Austin Theory. It's giving me Grayson Waller vibes. I don't know.
yeah, it's like it's not even hating on a level of like Grayson Waller. It's just like he is just trolling, like just the biggest troll on the planet. And it's just like
Did he get this
he's been
from you,
trolling.
Adam? Did he get
He
this
does.
from
Well, he's been doing this to me his entire life since he's really been talking. Like every time, this isn't a political show, but you know where I lean politically. And
you?
every
Yeah.
time I make a comment about it, he's like, "Oh, I love that guy. He's my favorite. I love him so much." And I'm like, "You know, the fuck you don't. Like you are lying through your teeth, right?" And it becomes a whole thing where it's like, "Dad, look at this," And I'm like,
Oh my
"Man,
god.
what the hell's the matter with you?" But no, he's hilarious. He's the funniest kid in the world. But like, he
That
is
was
just
funny.
like not just the biggest troll, but also the biggest hater. So
Well, I love
no,
it.
great. Yeah.
Again, thank you for joining me. Again,
Absolutely.
you're one of my favorite people just in general, and I always have
Appreciate
fun
that.
podcasting with you. So
Appreciate that.
whenever
Thank you.
these things come up, I'm like, I gotta call Adam first. Like you literally are the first person I like literally contacted. So
I
um
appreciate that.
and Cass is all about it too. So anyway, we had SmackDown tonight. I think
Yeah.
I am the only person in the WWE universe who did not know that this was pre-taped because I know that they're in Tokyo, but for some reason I either thought they were actually filming SmackDown in Tokyo. I don't know what I thought. But then
Mm.
I was like, there were pictures of Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair from Tokyo. They look completely different than tonight, and that's when it kind of clicked. And I'm like, they pre-taped this, and I haven't really
Yeah.
been online to see these things, so I apologize, folks. I thought it was like live still. I thought they were in Tokyo, and I'm like, these people look real American.
This
To
is
be
a
honest,
very American
American
show. Yeah.
Tokyo crowd.
America.
Um,
America.
so America. So
America.
anyway, it was pre-taped. However, it was still a good SmackDown. So we're gonna go through it quickly. mostly because we want to get to our SummerSlam picks. Both Adam and myself
Yes.
will be gone next Friday, so we figured we'd bless you guys with who we think will be winning at SummerSlam. So let's just go through SmackDown. A couple cool things happen. Mostly the tag teams got a lot of shine tonight, which is always wonderful. So basically, to kick off SmackDown, we had the Bloodline talking to not Adam Pierce, Nick
Nick
Aldis.
Aldis.
Oh, goodness, I need caffeine. Nick Aldis, and he said that you are disqualified because you have an eye injury, and the Bloodline said, absolutely not.
That doesn't work for me, brother. Yeah.
Don't work.
Hit him with a Hogan. Hit him with a Hogan.
We have another one over here, and they have about 8 more of them coming. So at this point, they're never going to be disqualified. So Adam said, or Adam, see, I did it again. Nick Aldis said, okay, fine. So it was now Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu who will be in the tag team gauntlet match. Not good for everyone else in the tag team gauntlet match, is it? Have Jacob Fatu on the loose.
Especially our boy Corbin. I just kind of knew. I was like, man, this is not going to end well for us Corbies, is it? It's not going to end well. I was
kind of hoping he'd like pull the W. I was like, Street Profits, because they were doing they will get there, but magnificent showing for the Street Profits. So I was kind of really hoping they would give him this one, but we'll get there. I like the comment in the comments that says, "Why are there so many comments already?" Like that was probably how are there so many comments so quickly? Oh wait, I know, and it's because our lovely chat has been chatting before we even got on the air. So love y'all. George, what's up? B4 Bailey in the chat. What's up? Jeffrey, of course. What's up? George, what's up? All you amazing
We
people.
appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in on your Friday night. You could be anywhere in the world and you choose to be here with us. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Here watching us.
We're at this. Love it.
So we appreciate you. Then the superstar LA Knight, comes out. The crowd was actually quite loud for him. Boisterous reaction for him. He had a match versus Santos Escobar. I'm just gonna get to it. LA Knight won. LA Knight has to win at SummerSlam. He has to win at SummerSlam. Like I and we'll get to our prediction, but either shit or get off the pot, right? Like they have to pull the trigger at this point. They've kind of kept him away for 2 years now since he's been called up. 2 years, and they just haven't done it. At the end of this match, Logan Paul comes out and attacks him. Shocker. Attacked him from behind. And Logan Paul stood tall. But this is not the go home show technically. Next Friday is technically the go home show. So we have to see if there's any more altercations between the two. If there's not, technically this means Logan Paul stood tall. If we're still going by that formula, that was more of a Vince McMahon formula. So I don't know. I mean, redacted formula. I don't know.
Redacted. He who shall not be named. Yeah.
He who shall not be named. Logan Paul and Santos seem to team up on LA Knight, kind of beating him down. So I don't know if during the SummerSlam match, Logan Paul might have some extra help. He seems to always have extra help, and it's usually the dude who's in the prime bottle suit. Maybe it'll be Santos Escobar in the prime bottle suit this time.
I was going to say, is it iShow Speed or KSI or
KSI?
One of the many numerous YouTubers that he hangs out with, which
correct. That nobody likes.
Well, listen, there's a reason why he's not in Japan.
What?
You don't know that?
Oh, you know spill the tea, Adam. Oh, spill the tea.
You don't know that story, do you? Oh my God.
I do not.
So Logan Paul, I can't even remember how long ago it was. Logan Paul did a video on his YouTube channel where they went to a very famous forest in Japan that is I guess it's famous, but it's also notorious for people unaliving themselves. And when they got there, they filmed a man who had just recently unalived himself.
This is the dead body thing.
Correct.
I
And so
thought
if he
I
goes
didn't
back
realize
to
that was in
Japan,
Japan.
if he goes back to Japan, again, the rumor is that there's legal consequences that he'll face when he goes to Japan, or he's been banned from the country. One of the two. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
Woo.
it was like, oh, well, that's
Yeah,
why
I
they
didn't.
appreciate
I knew of that story. I just didn't know that happened in Japan. I think that's the part I was missing.
Yeah, it happened, and it's I can't remember the name. Anybody in the chat, you can pull the name up of the forest, but it's notorious for that. And like, there's no other reason for you to go there. Yeah, like Jeffrey said, yeah, he can't.
YouTube.
And they demonetized him for a while. Like The Rock swore him off for a long time. Like a lot of people.
I do remember that. I do remember that's part of the reason why he was basically canceled was because of that. But I guess I just didn't realize that was in Japan.
Can you blame people though? Like that was a really
absolutely not.
Like,
I can't stand Logan Paul. He drives me nuts.
Shitty thing to do. Like I appreciate that he apologized afterwards and like he seemed, again, like sometimes you have to take people at their word, but it was like, brother, what were you thinking going there? Like, what was the thought process behind this? Like,
there was no thought process. He's basically he's a YouTube star. He wanted views. He knew that finding this person or just somebody in general would get attention. The wrong kind of attention, but would get attention. And I just think it's gross, disrespectful. But he knew it would get views, and so he wasn't thinking at the time. I'm sure he was like people will watch this, and
right. That's the thing. Like you can like what you're going to that place for. You know what you're looking for, and then you like the fact. Like I can appreciate
that too. I'm like, was he purposely in the forest to look for that?
Well, that's the thing is, it's like, what other reason are you going to the forest for in the first place? Like this is
so then if
go to Japan,
basically premeditated at this
right, but it's like if you go to
Japan, fine.
If you go to Japan, like, and you go to this particular forest, this particular area, like it's literally what it's known for. It's like it's rampant through there. So it doesn't make and again, it's like, okay,
the only reason why you'd be going there is to try and find something.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And he puts it online, and then he's like, oh, we call the authorities right away. It's like, yeah, not after you fucking film the guy and you're talking about him. Like, come on. Like, if that were me, I'd be if that was someone in my family, like I know how pissed off I would be. And again, like I said, to be clear,
and I don't know Japanese laws, but to your point, he might go to jail if he steps into that country. Like you just never know. So, and
again, like you said, I don't mean to tie it up with all this Logan Paul shit, but like I have to take him at his word. Like, okay, like maybe he would never do that again, and lesson learned or whatever it is, and hopefully he grows from it. But honestly, like I don't think the guy has. Like,
he's
what I mean?
To do shitty stuff though.
And that's what I mean. Like maybe that's just who he is. He's just a shitty guy. But like it's it is what it is. But no, I think I agree. Like you said, we'll go into our predictions later. LA Knight's got to win. He has to at this point, and we'll talk about that later. But I thought the Santos Escobar match was great. I'm a fan of Santos Escobar. I think he's fantastic. But I'm really excited to see LA Knight kick the dog shit out of Logan Paul. So.
Me too. We'll get there. So then they announced on Monday that they will be doing referee rules or going over referee rules or announcing them or whatever for Drew McIntyre and CM Punk with Seth Rollins refereeing. So they announced that. Logan Paul said that backstage that he will continue to be U.S. champ after SummerSlam, and I'm sure he'll bring out those brass knuckles and all that stuff. Then the most two gorgeous women I've ever seen in my life came out after that, and Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, and they were like super blinging, man. Like they were shining. They were shiny. Basically calling out Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, saying that you guys have been ducking and dodging us. You said you'd be here at SmackDown. Where are you at? We haven't seen you. And Alba and Isla's music hits, kind of distracting the girls. They come out from behind and attack them. But Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill end up getting the upper hand and throwing both Alba Fire and Isla Dawn out. So I need George, because George, I don't know if you've seen George's description of Jade and Bianca, but he calls them yams and guns. And it's one of my favorite descriptions of them. Because we were trying to think of tag team names, And we were going to the chat and we were like, hey, chat, like, what are some tag team names? He's like, how about Yams and Guns? We about busted out laughing. I was like, I cannot.
Coined and minted, my friend. Excellent work. I appreciate the veracity here. It's wonderful work. Like 12 out of 10, no notes. Like fabulous. Good stuff.
So I don't know where this is going. I'm assuming it's going to a tag team match. They still haven't announced anything. Like, are Jade and Bianca going to be on SummerSlam?
I sure as fuck hope
so. Are they
so.
not? They're on the poster.
That would be a huge miss if they weren't. Like, that would be a crazy miss if they were on the pre-show or something. Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, they're on the poster. Not to say that just because you're on the poster that you have to be on the card, but it's two big stars. The tag team match is there. You could probably make it a 4-way tag team match, honestly, if you add in Shayna and Zoe and Chelsea and Piper, or some combination of those groups in it, but they still haven't announced anything officially. So I don't know. And maybe that's why. So Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are going to be on NXT Great American Bash on Tuesday. So maybe they're waiting to be like, okay, once they retain, then they can maybe make it official next Friday. But that's the day before SummerSlam. So probably last minute. But we'll see. I don't know. I just want them to defend their tag titles. They haven't defended them except for once, I think, since they won them at Clash. So I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I see some commentary. That's it.
I can't even.
I think
Akigahara Forest.
If my Japanese is correct, I believe it's Akigahara Forest. And it's this. Thank you, Jeffrey. Well, because I think that in Japanese, there's like an emphasis, like Shinsuke Nakamura. It's spelled SHINSUKE, but they don't put, like, the language itself. They don't put the emphasis on vowels in certain spaces. So I think it's the Akigahara Forest. But anyway, yes, Jeffrey, thank you for pulling. I couldn't remember the name off the top of my head, but and I'm seeing some commentary in the chat too. You guys are great. This is helping kind of like illustrate what we're saying here. But somebody said, B for Bailey said that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn they don't seem to have caught on with the audience is good or bad. And like, that really feels like the Achilles heel of the women's division is the fact
that's not their fault. To me, no. Because to my point, they've defended one time since they've won at Clash. There's no reason why they can't have a tag team match every single week, whether it's in NXT, whether it's on SmackDown or at Raw. There's plenty of women's tag teams. I understand they're building, I guess, a story, if you want to call it, which is cool. But I'm like, they could still be defending throughout that, and they're not. And so I'm like, in order for them to build any kind of audience cred, you have to be seen and you have to be featured and you have to be on there. A lot of us know Alba Fire or aka Kaylee Ray, but those are people who follow wrestling for a long time and intently. Young kids who are just starting to watch or get into it have zero clue who Alba Fire is. And so it's one of those things where I'm like, unless you put them out there, that's why I love what they're doing with NXT. They bring the NXTers and do those crossovers so well. When they are brought up, the audience is already fully aware who they are. They're chanting their songs. They're chanting their names or whatever it might be. But I'm like, I feel like some of the main roster people aren't getting that same kind of shine, which is crazy if you think about it. So,
well, I think too, and to your point with that, before I go back into the women's tag team vision, because there was a second part to that too, just as in a general in tag team, I really think that was, and this might be controversial, and you can write it down, and then there's a wall over here. You could argue right with that here if you'd like to. But I really think that was a huge, like, kneecapping situation for Karrion Kross. Because when Karrion Kross came to the main roster back at, what was that, 2020 or 2021, whenever that was, when he first, or 2019 maybe it was before, I can't remember.
Right before COVID.
Yeah, literally like right before COVID. He had this incredible, presentation in
persona.
NXT, and the whole entrance with Scarlett. And they didn't do anything to make the current audience aware of him. So he has his first television match looking like a fucking gladiator against Jeff Hardy and gets his ass handed to him in like a minute and a half. And it's like, you're going to beat the NXT champion on television? Like, no hate
Jeff
or
Hardy
smoke
of all
to
people?
Jeff Hardy.
Like, Jeff
Right,
Hardy's
but
had
no,
plenty of shine. He did not need the win.
yeah, they're like no
Yeah,
smoke to Jeff Hardy, but like he didn't need this fucking win. Like so
correct.
I think in that regard, I think that's done more long-term damage to Karrion Cross, which is why I think one of the bigger issues is why Final Testament isn't connecting the way it should. And again, just like the Corbin stuff, I'm a huge Karrion Cross fan. No one will ever change my mind. I think that dude is fantastic.
Mhm.
But you're right. I love the way that they're tying in the NXT development stuff and like bringing them and introducing people into the main roster, right? Braun Breaker, Tiffany
Tiffany
Stratton.
Stratton,
You're talking about like even,
Lyra
in some
Valkyria,
Lyra Valkyria is another one. I mean, there's a bunch of names that you could talk about and mention, but
Carmelo.
I
Even
think, oh
main
my God, yeah.
roster crowds know Trick.
I mean, they're all over the place. Like Trick knows, I mean, but I think it was because that storyline between Trick and Carmelo was so
Correct.
good. And
And
it
it
was
carried
basically,
over into the main roster when Trick showed up out of
and they
nowhere and
ran it.
everyone started chanting "Whoop that Trick." And I'm like, this is on SmackDown that they're chanting.
Yeah.
Like they know him.
This is the main roster. And they basically ran back the Rockers angle from the 80s. Like that's literally
Yeah.
what they did. And it was
Yeah.
perfectly executed. But I think as far as to the points about Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, I think the biggest issue is the fact it's not just the women's division. And again, like to be clear, like I want to be clear about this. I don't think any of the talent are at fault for this in any way, shape, or form. I just think that overall what we've seen is that it's kind of an Achilles heel for Papa H that he can't come up with a good way to book the tag team division. You know, we had the gauntlet match tonight, the gauntlet matches that we'll have, or that they had tonight, which we'll get to, but like it just feels very stifled. You know, it feels very like it feels very stunted. It doesn't feel like it's very developed. And how do you develop that, right? Because if you remember back in the 90s, you know, like the Road Warriors, you had Demolition, you had the Rockers, you had the Hart Foundation, like all of these really impactful groups. And they're not doing that now here.
But they made them, because I think you might not be aware of this, but people who followed me for a while do. When I started watching wrestling, it was Kane and tag team wrestling. Those were my favorite things. And to me, back then, tag teams were bigger than now. Like it was like, they were kind of, if not more popular than the world champion, they were up there. If that makes sense. They booked them like they were important. And that's what frustrated me about the gauntlet match tonight. And we can get to that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the team that won, if that makes sense. I know why they won. Storyline wise, I felt like some of those other teams could have used that W to help build and give them some street cred in the tag team division. And it's frustrating.
You figure, right? Like the bloodline doesn't really need any more gold. Like they don't need that right now, right?
The storyline doesn't need it or call for it.
It doesn't facilitate or require Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga to have the tag team goal, because unless they're trying to run back the angle like they tried with, you know, like with the Usos. And somebody said it in the chat here. I can't remember who it was. Let me pull it back here. Somebody was talking about Jimmy Uso. Yeah, another example of the Karrion Cross effect. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like people are not aware of who they are. You're not building them properly, and then they show up on the main roster and they fucking disappear. I would say that's more That's more of the redacted effect, though. It's expected to return. Yes, that's what I think. I think that I don't necessarily. So if the match for the tag team, that's the one I was looking for. Yeah. I don't know if the match is next week between DIY and the Bloodline, but I think potentially I would see Jimmy Uso returning to cost them the match, and then really starting to layer that, because again, I know we're jumping around a little bit here, folks.
I thought Jimmy was going to show up during the Cody versus Solo match, actually at SummerSlam. That's when I felt like he was going to show up.
I thought so too, but I think it's going to be the precursor to Roman's return at SummerSlam, because I think Roman's coming back at SummerSlam. Jimmy's just the guy.
SmackDown.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's going to be the guy that really like kind of sets the fire to it, because again, like we talked about last time we were together, was like, I think the War Games match is going to be New Bloodline versus OG Bloodline, right? And Cody will probably be in that as well. And I think that's what they're building to, right? Like Jimmy comes back, Jimmy tries to recruit Jay. Jimmy tries to recruit Sammy. Jimmy tries to recruit
And Jay and Sammy are kind
Cody.
of back
And they're both
together
like,
in a way if you saw Raw. So it's kind
all
of
coming
like
together.
they're kind of trying to put the pieces together where it makes sense by the time you get there. It's not completely foreign, like they haven't talked to each other in 8 months. Like Jay
They're
and
slow
Sammy
burn.
just teamed up on Monday together. So I just we'll get there in just a second. I just don't understand.
But I get to your point with the tag team division though. Like you talk about, you have the Good Brothers, which
I know. I don't even know how they're still there. I don't even know how they're still there. I'll be honest, guys. I don't know how they're still employees.
So when Blue Meanie and I do our podcast, Mind of the Meanie, every Monday, wherever you get your podcast, we do a show called The Green Room. And so we do it for our Patreon folks who'd sign up, and we have like a 10 to 15 minute window before we actually hit record and we go live. And we talk about all kinds of stuff, right? So for that story, the Good Brothers story, specifically one of them, that's a green room conversation for you and I to have. But
okay.
Poo on them. And God. So, but excluding them, like Pretty Deadly could have used the bump here. Correct. Corbin and Cruz could have used the bump here because you're building
every tag team in there could have used it.
Yeah.
Then the bloodline that won, in my opinion, because to me the stars of the match were the Street Profits. The Street Profits haven't won anything big in years. They held I think the Raw tag team titles for 5-6 months when they first got called up, and I was like, okay, they're fully behind them.
Yeah.
And then they moved to SmackDown. And ever since they moved to SmackDown, they've been lost in the sauce. We went heel. Mm-hmm. We were with Bobby Lashley. I think we're heels, but no one's booing us. And I feel like they're just stuck. And obviously, if you've heard, Bobby Lashley's I think leaving at this point. His contract is up, and I believe it's not being renewed so far. So it is the assumption that he is leaving.
Which is fucking criminal, by the way. I know Bobby Lashley's a little bit on the older side, but I still think they could have given him one more run with at least the World Heavyweight title. Just make him a big, the Hurt Business, and I will forever say this. And
I will be pissed about the Hurt Business. I'm still pissed about the Hurt Business. One of my favorite groups in a very long time.
Was one of my favorite parts about Pandemic Wrestling and the Performance Center championship, or the Performance Center stuff. And it was, I think, one of the biggest dropped balls of the modern redacted era. And I think that if they had properly booked those guys and really let them fly, I think we would be talking about them in the sense of the bloodline, because they were so on point. They were connected.
I thought the execution was great. Their look was great. The music hit. I loved everything about the Hurt Business. And I don't quite know what happened. I guess maybe we'll find out when MVP and Bobby Lashley leave and they decide to spill tea. But I'm on the train of I am upset about how they've dropped the ball with MVP, or with the Hurt Business. Yeah. I am not necessarily on the train of they didn't treat Bobby Lashley well. Bobby Lashley has done a lot of great historical things in WWE over his career. I think he's had an amazing career. And I'm happy to see him do whatever he wants to do outside of WWE. I think he's done a great job. I don't think he needed anything else. If he would have held the title, cool. If he didn't, cool. It doesn't bother me either way. I think some people are very upset about it, and I'm like, okay.
I think it's more but again, I think it ties more into the idea of rebuilding the Hurt Business, because we're all kind of how come this didn't happen, right? Why didn't we?
I really do want to know. I do want to know, because I'm and why did they just get dropped? It's so weird. And it was a Vince McMahon thing, and it got dropped in the Vince McMahon era. So I'm like, what happened? Because there's certain things that were big in Vince McMahon era that got dropped in Triple H era, and that was not one of them. So I'm like, what happened? Because they were selling shirts. I bought that shirt so quick. So quick.
I was like, great, a Hurt Business segment. I can't fucking wait. Like hyped, every week to watch him on
His
TV.
little lounge chairs. I'm like, okay.
Oh my
Let's
God,
do this.
so
Little red
good.
rope.
And again,
Loved it.
MVP is so good at what he does. From a mic perspective.
I am upset about MVP though. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Like I'm upset about MVP, but not Bobby Lashley.
But
like,
I think
I love MVP.
But yeah, to your point, like I don't necessarily want to say that like Bobby Lashley hasn't done what he should have done in the company because he hit the top of the mountain, right? It's almost like Edge, Adam Copeland. Like at a certain point, it's like, what else can we do? We've told the story about you going to WrestleMania. We've told the story about all these different things. Like we've gone through all this with the Judgment Day. Like we've done like there isn't really much left to tell here, and that's cool. They left on good terms. Everybody seems to be talking to each other. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is sometimes. And I think that may be the potentially here for Lashley. But as far as the tag team divisions go, like what the fuck are we going to be doing now with Corbin and Cruz? What are we doing with Pretty Deadly? Like,
what are the Street Profits doing? Like, what?
Where are the Street Profits? Like, where are we going with this? Yeah,
like, we're getting there. So obviously, if Bobby Lashley's out, that leaves the Street Profits and B-Fab kind of on their own at this point. And they're seen backstage. Terrence Crawford, the best pound for pound fighter in the world, apparently 40-0. Pretty impressive. Greets them backstage. They dap up. They're friends. He's like, I got your back. Cool. I want the best fighter in the world to have my back.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know about y'all. And then you see Nia Jax, who promises to fix Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank briefcase if they win tonight's match. If you watched last SmackDown, her briefcase got destroyed by Bayley. It's now taped up and damaged. But Nia said if they win their tag team match tonight, she will fix Tiffany Stratton's suitcase for her. Briefcase, excuse me, I said suitcase. And then basically the main thing that happened tonight was the tag team gauntlet match, where you had 6 tag teams going at it. Once one was pinned, another team will come out, so on and so forth. A lot of fun, a lot of great matchups in this. Corbin and Cruz it was Street Profits versus Corbin and Cruz first. A lot of fun, and I just fucking love Baron Corbin. And I didn't expect them to win. I'll be honest. I assumed that the Street Profits would be winning here. Corbin and Cruz are so new as a tag team, and Street Profits obviously being a tag team for a very long time together. I had assumed that they'd be picking up the W, which they did. What did you think of this matchup?
I really enjoyed the Corbin high flying stuff. Like I don't know what it is about it, but he's
I don't love when he high flies. He's so big. That's why.
So good. I think the dynamic between Cruz and Corbin's really good. I'm looking forward to them building that a little bit more. And obviously everything the Street Profits do is fucking great. Like I enjoyed that matchup dynamic because I think it allowed the Street Profits to help put a little bit more shine on Corbin and Cruz, and then also reminded people like who the fuck the Street Profits are, right? And I think that was the biggest part to me. One of the comments I made to my wife while I was sitting there while we were watching it, because I know like Pretty Deadly came in, they got their asses handed to them. Who was the first tag team? It was Corbin and Cruz, and who did they start? Who was the starter?
That was Pretty Deadly, right?
I think it was Corbin and Cruz.
Hold on.
I can't remember who it was.
I thought I had it in order.
Anybody in the chat can tell us too, because I can't remember who Corbin and Cruz fought first. But anyway, like I was thinking, like watching them, and I'm sitting there watching Montez Ford and Jacob Fatu fight and have their interactions. And I said to Courtney, my wife's name is Courtney, when Jacob Fatu came out, I was like, this motherfucker's a star. He is a superstar.
I love him so much. You don't understand how much I love this man.
He is so good, and the appearance, the entrance, the music, the name, Legado del Fantasma. Thank you. I couldn't think of who it was. It was
yes, Angel and Humberto. Yes,
that's it. Yep. Thank you.
I'm so sad I forgot about them.
I couldn't remember. I was literally I could see it. I could see who it was in my brain, and I couldn't get the words out. But I was sitting there watching Jacob Fatu, and I'm going, that guy is going to be WWE champion one day. And Courtney was saying to me, she was saying to me too, she's a big fan of the Street Profits. She was like, why haven't they been doing more with them? And I was like, well, they don't want to turn one of these guys heel.
Courtney.
They don't want to turn one of these guys. She always has great questions like that. We're watching the shows. They don't want to. They don't want to watch. Viewer? No, well, she used to be, but now she's like full on like
into it. Okay.
We watch Raw and SmackDown every week. But it's like they don't want to turn Montez heel. They don't want to turn Angelo heel. They don't want to break this team up.
Correct.
But I could see Montez Ford being a WWE champion. And I really thought, as I'm sitting there watching this, I'm like, that's good. That right there, Montez Ford and Jacob Fatu, that is going to be a future WWE championship match. Like that's how good they both are.
I actually thought at one point that Montez was going to break off and go for the United States Championship. And that was actually before LA Knight came up. So I don't know when LA Knight came up, if that completely just changed things or what, but either way, I would like to see them get some direction, I guess is basically what I'd like to see. George, don't laugh at me. I did forget about Angel and Humberto.
It's late, y'all. It's late.
It's not even that. To my point, like, if you book them better, maybe people could remember them. No, I'm just kidding.
That's literally what we were talking about too. It's like, well, it's not really their fault. Like, it's just them. No, but again, like you said, it's just a matter of like just finding the right way in, and I think that's both companies, right? Like, I don't necessarily know that I enjoy any tag team wrestling these days in either company. And
I really liked, I'm gonna forget their name too, the one over in AEW. I know this is not AEW show, so I apologize. It was it's a Mexican tag team over there. Oh my god, I can't remember the name. I'll remember it later. Either way, amazing tag team, and they gave me the feeling I used to have when I was a kid watching tag team wrestling. Like, they're just explosive, and it's not the same moves all the time, and it's different. And that's what I miss about tag team wrestling. Like, most of these guys in this match, we've seen all their moves. They kind of do the same moves, maybe in different ways or whatever. And again, it's not, I know WWE kind of limits that sometimes, so I don't know. Anyway, it was still good tag team matches. Can you pull up, I think one of the best ones was Corbin and Cruz versus the Street Profits. The Street Profits actually lasted the whole way through.
Yeah. They came all the way through that gauntlet, and they got their asses handed to them. Can you pull up Jeffrey Reimer's comment real fast about the New Day, please? Same way with New Day.
Okay. I can pop off on this shit all night. Okay, now look.
That's happening. That is happening.
Look. I love the New Day, and you guys know I try and keep it positive, but I am so tired of this gimmick. Like, they need something new. They need something different, and I want that for them. And I mean, if they're happy in the New Day gimmick, then great, but I'm like, let's just try something new. Like, they seem to be stuck. All the tag teams are stuck in like this rut where it's just like directionless. And I'm just like, or you're in the same feud for 6 months. And I'm like, or 8 months. There's no real story behind it other than I don't like you and you keep cheating to win. And so I'm going to keep going after you. And this isn't over. And I'm like,
it's the all-American baby face kind of shit, right? It's the all-American, Now listen, y'all, remember, and then George Lewis says too, he says there's no way they split up the New Day. Yes, they are. Y'all better get used to it because it is coming. I know they said they never
wanted to be in interviews. And I know they said that.
Remember, though, every time Karrion Kross gets involved in somebody's shit, that character changes. Go all the way back to when he first debuted again in 2022 or 2023, whenever it was. Puts the hourglass in the ring for the bloodline. He starts attacking Drew McIntyre. What happens to Drew McIntyre? He turns heel. He gets obsessed. His entire narrative changes. Every single feud that Kross is involved with, the character changes. What's going to be different about Xavier Woods? What's going to be? He's the only one of the New Day members that
Hmm.
hasn't held singles gold. He's the only one of the New Day that hasn't been a world heavyweight champion yet. He's the
Correct.
only one in the group that hasn't had his shine yet. Don't you think that's, and again, like what I compared it to when I watch it, it's like, and again, I want to be clear about this because I know there's a lot of folks that are like, oh, nothing will ever be like the NWO again. And like, you're right, nothing will ever be like the NWO. But I'm talking about this from a perspective of like the shock factor of this. Okay. Nothing will ever shock any wrestling fans the way that Hulk Hogan's heel turn did at Bash at the Beach, right? Like,
because he was the All-American babyface. It's the same. Actually, it's the same thing will happen possibly when Cody goes heel, because I think he'll do it when we least expect it. Right now, you can start getting a feel for when people are about to turn, and you're like, okay, they're
kind of feel it coming.
I do truly feel like they're not going to do that with Cody, and it's going to be completely out of left field, and it might equal that. Right now, I can't stand Hulk Hogan after that man. But back then, when it happened,
we're talking about
he was the All-American babyface, and it literally threw everybody like, what?
Yeah,
What?
I don't want anything to do, like, you know, Hulk Hogan is everything everybody says about him, right? The point of this, though, is the fact that the man was so larger than life, right? I mean, you remember, anybody who's watching who's been a wrestling fan for more than 20 minutes, I mean, you know the story, right? The Real American, he shows up in WCW and he gets saddled with the Dungeon of Doom, and then he turns heel out of nowhere, right? You're just totally shocked. And he says, you know, you tell these people to shut up if you want me to tell you how I feel, right? Or tell you what I think. Like, that was a huge, a game changer. And I know that word gets used a lot, but that was the real last game changer in professional wrestling.
Kids crying in the audience in shock. Like,
what happened to their hero? Like, I remember watching that live and going, what am I watching right now? Like, there's no way this happened, right? And so everybody, the point that I'm trying to get to is that I think in some aspects you may see people having the same type of feelings and reactions about Xavier Woods turning heel as they did with some of the, again, right, yeah, Beaver Bailey. If she didn't have that heel turn in 2019, would she be as popular as she is now? She wouldn't, because you need that character development. You need that additional space in order to grow.
She was lost in the sauce. What is Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins always said? You have to keep changing and growing. You have to keep changing and growing and adapting. Like, your character can't just stay like this. LA Knight eventually is going to have to change something, right? He's very popular. People like the way he is right now. I could say possibly the only character I can think of that didn't change much is probably Stone Cold. Obviously, he had his character before Stone Cold, but I'm talking about the Stone Cold character for the most part remained the same. He did have like a slight heel turn, which didn't really stick. But his character at base remained the same. But most people, most wrestlers have to grow, change, and adapt their characters so people don't get bored of it. And that's kind of where Bailey had gotten. And you know, you guys know how much I love Bailey. The hugger had died, basically. And she was lost in the sauce on main roster. She was a big deal in NXT. And then she got to main roster. She didn't come up with the other girls either. She was kind of by herself. And she just got lost down there. So when that heel turn happened, I was audibly screaming so loudly. Yeah. So it's one of those things where people do have to grow. With New Day, I also was on they'll never turn them heel train, but at this point, I think it's needed because, again, I do feel like they're kind of lost in the sauce. We do have to get the SummerSlam predictions.
Yes. We want to get to that. Yeah.
So we'll just kind of scoot through the rest of SmackDown here, but great tag team matches. In the end, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga get the W over the Street Profits. I don't know why, but to Adam's point, maybe this is possibly because it is setting up Jimmy Uso to return. It's kind of setting up Roman to return as well. After that, you had Austin Theory and Grayson Waller come out talking their shit. And then Terrence Crawford came out. And they were like, oh, Terrence Crawford's in the ring with us. Oh, and doing that whole thing. And Terrence Crawford took both out. I can't talk. Terrence Crawford took out Theory with one punch. Which is pretty actually pretty realistic.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's again, you're getting to split up. You're getting to split up the Waller and Austin Theory. What am I looking at?
Go on, keep going.
Yeah, now, I think we're getting to the split up between Waller and Austin Theory at this point. I think they're going to try to build Austin Theory up as a face. I've kind of felt that coming for a while. Again, another one of these guys who got lost in the sauce, got to change his character, becoming a new person. Always excited to see Terrence Crawford, though. And again, Grayson Waller is going to be that shitbird heel that's going to, try to mess everything up. And it's just another night of him being that person. So, again, just more fodder, more build to when that eventual happens, and then hopefully they're able to capitalize with it. They're able to capitalize with Austin Theory this time. So,
I agree. We will see what happens there. We then had Michin come out. We had our tag team match: Michin and Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. And I'm always happy to see Michin, first of all. She's been doing a lot of work. She's been going back from NXT to SmackDown with these ongoing feuds, helping Bayley out. Before the match even started, Nia and Tiffany Stratton took out Michin. So she was already down before the thing got started. So, but it was a fun match. It's always good to see Bayley get in there. Obviously, as we know, Bayley and Nia have a match at SummerSlam. But Tiffany Stratton helped Nia out with a briefcase to the face. And I don't know, what did you think of this match?
Again, I think it was more filler for I think it was more filler for the women's title match that's going to happen at SummerSlam. I'm still not convinced that Bayley's going to retain. I still think that Nia Jax is. Yeah, I really do. I think Nia Jax is gonna pull this one out, and I'll get to the second part of that reaction too, or that thought. Like I said, I felt that I always enjoy watching Nia Jax. I think she's gotten way better since she's been back with the company. Bayley's always fantastic, but I don't think it's kind of just serving the storyline at that point. This episode kind of fell flat for me in some ways.
It was clearly filler.
Yeah,
it was okay.
Yeah,
it was.
Okay, it's just it was okay. Like, it wasn't great. Like WWE's been running and firing on all cylinders recently. But I think it's about, it's just advancing it until we get to the go home editions next week. So, should be, like I said, I'm looking forward to the Bayley and Nia match, and we can give you our predictions now for at least the cards that we have to go from there.
Yes. So we'll go ahead and go over our SummerSlam predictions. Obviously, guys, put yours in the chat, but we'll go over the SummerSlam card real quick here. So, let's start off with, I think there's still some more matches coming. Well, let's start off with the one you just mentioned, Bayley versus Nia Jax. What do you think? You just said you think Bayley might actually lose.
Yes, I do. I think Bayley's gonna lose the title. I think she's gonna drop it to Nia. And I think Tiffany's gonna have a failed cash in right after that. I think Tiffany's going to try to cash in on Nia Jax and
on her bestie.
I think she's going to fail.
Well, that does also. It's also kind of curious that she said that I will. Oh. Okay. Oh no! Wait. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second.
We're having some technical difficulties here.
Having some technical difficulties. Give me one sec. Oh,
You can
okay.
undo that. You can undo that, I think. If you click on it, you should be able to undo it.
Oh no.
So I think if, like I said, I think Tiffany's plotting and figuring she's going to catch Nia after this match and really try to beat her. Initially, to George's point, I thought that Tiffany was going to cash in and cost Nia the match. But I think, and then he said Bayley retains. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think Nia is going to win. But I really think that it's going to be. I think that Nia is going to win this. Yeah. What do you think?
I think. Sorry, guys, we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
I
Sorry about
think
that.
Bayley is going to actually win, and I think it's because Tiffany's going to try and cash in. Nia's going to stop her, get distracted, go through that whole thing, and I think Bayley's going to end up taking it. Because of all that going on, they'll be fighting or whatever it might be, and I think Bayley will come in and do a roll up or whatever it might be. I would not be mad if Nia wins. I think she's been fantastic since she's come back. So I would like to see it.
Again, I think, like I said, I think Nia's really come a long way since she's been back with the company, and I'm glad they're starting to give her the shine. She's a wonderful person too. Like, had a couple opportunities to talk to her in person, and I think she's great. But I can totally see her taking this match here.
All right.
Let's see who else we got. Let me ask you, Stephanie. Who do you think about Damian Priest and Gunther?
Oh crap. Oh crap. Okay.
This is a hard one for me. Yeah.
This is a hard one. I could see Gunther taking it, but I almost feel like he won't because it needs to happen I think Finn's gonna get involved somehow. Obviously that's been building between Finn and Damian Priest this whole time. So I'm thinking that it's possible Finn might, I don't know, try and cause Damian to lose or cause a disqualification. I think this is going to end the DQ, to be honest. The only reason why I think Gunther does eventually get it, but I think he gets it at Bash in Berlin. So I don't think this is it. And I think that's in October.
I think it's October. I think it's before Bad Blood, if I recall correctly.
It is. So I think that's where Gunther either gets it there or he gets the title and takes it into Bash in Berlin. I just don't think he gets it at SummerSlam because the story with Finn, because remember, Finn is still somehow involved with the Liv situation and everything going on. And so, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I feel like there could be a lot of drama at SummerSlam, to be honest with you.
I'm sure. And again, like we talked about last time we were together too, like the title picture for that World Heavy, or the crop of folks who are competing for that World Heavyweight Championship is so rich and it's so deep that I think that any potential scenario of this, like I still see Punk holding that title at some point during this reign, during this time when he's with the company. Like I don't see that. I see Jey Uso getting that title. You know, I could see
Jey
Braun
Uso
Breaker
needs to go after the Intercontinental title, which is why I'm like, stop being friends with Sammy and kick his ass.
He needs to get that one. Well, I think what I predict happening, and we'll get to that match as well. But I think I'll tell you that in a second. But no, I think this could go either way for me. My money is on a Judgment Day kerfuffle, the Gaga, if you will.
Correct.
And I think Damian Priest retains, and I think it sets up Damian and Gunther to have a real barn burner in Berlin, which then provides Gunther to have the decisive victory over Damian Priest, and then that's the end of that title reign.
I agree. So I just don't think he gets it here. So I think Damian retains via DQ at SummerSlam. You brought up Punk. I don't necessarily know if the Punk Seth Rollins / Punk Drew situation does not need a title at all.
No.
It's intense enough between either Punk or Drew and Punk and Seth that it's like they're set for like 6 months till Mania probably with that story.
They're gonna blow that off with a Hell in a Cell, maybe a Bad Blood or something along those lines. They're gonna run this shit until it can't be run anymore. And I think eventually what we get to is the original WrestleMania 40 match with Rollins and Punk, but it's reversed. Punk walks into Mania as champion, Rollins leaves with the title. So I think that's
Oh.
eventually where we get.
In the end,
so
Rollins has to eventually win over Punk. I feel like, right?
he's got to go over.
Storyline
Yeah.
wise. Okay.
Yeah, he's got to go over.
Speaking of, since we're there, let's talk about it. We have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the special referee. What are we thinking? Who's going to win?
CM
Is
Punk,
Seth going to screw everybody and give everyone low blows the whole time? What's going to happen?
I think CM Punk is going to win this match, and I think it's going to be very much like Undertaker, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, that real famous match where Shawn Michaels hit Bret Hart with the chair, knocks his ass out cold, and he's forced to pin and count down with CM Punk, and CM Punk wins. This is actually the match that I'm looking forward to
the most. Like storyline wise. Okay.
Oh my God.
Now that you said it, I'm like, okay. I feel like Seth dislikes CM Punk so much, he's not going to want anyone else to beat him but him.
Yes.
That makes sense. I don't think he wants Drew to beat him. And I think it makes more storyline sense for Drew not to beat him, because Drew's going absolutely insane, right? Like,
right.
And so this can go so many ways.
There's so many different angles to this.
And the fact now I want it.
Let's talk about the Jack Perry photo, by the way. I know we're running short on time here, but like that Jack Perry photo is like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Like, they need to give Drew all the raises in the world. Like, that is crazy.
That was next level shit that day. And it was like, oh
next level trolling. You want to talk about trolling? That is next level, dude. Oh my God.
Maybe we put Drew at the top now. Yeah. Like that was crazy. But I agree with you though. I think this turns into, again, this is such a wild story just from like a random freak injury that happens during the Rumble. You get this incredible storyline between the two of them. And now Seth Rollins is in the mix. But you're right. I think
first, remember that was supposed to be the Mania match with Seth and Punk.
And then Drew just got involved, and it really revitalized Drew's career. And it took that heel turn to a whole different level that I don't think that anybody was really prepared for.
I'm like, has this been in Drew the whole time? Because he has just been on it.
Unbelievable.
Like, on it. Yeah, no.
He's been so good. But I think CM Punk does walk out of this match as the winner. That's my final prediction.
Too.
Yeah.
I think he does too. Because Seth Rollins can't call interference on himself, right? Like a DQ on himself.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works.
I think Seth Rollins' hate for CM Punk goes down so deep that he's not going to want Drew to get a W over him. He's the only one who's going to want to get a W over him. So, I think CM Punk is winning this match. It's not going to be pretty. I think you end this probably with Seth and Punk in each other's faces. If not, I don't even know. I'm this is the one I'm most excited about, to be honest.
Yeah. Can't wait for this match. So good.
I know. Another one on the card is Miss Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's World Title. This has been controversial, interesting, dramatic, all the things, trashy, all the things, like your favorite trash TV programming. But the story is there. Dominic's right in the middle of it all. What do you think?
I will say that I don't think it's necessarily been my favorite storyline that I've seen so far.
For reasons, but
there's I mean, it's not even necessarily like the trashy aspects of it. It's just like it just didn't hit for me for whatever reason. And again, I don't think it has anything to do with the performers. I like, they're all great in their own right. I just, for whatever reason, it didn't click for me personally. I want to say, the heel turn in me wants to say that Dominic turns on Rhea and joins Liv's side and Liv retains. But I think Rhea's winning this match. I think Rhea's getting that title back, and I think they're going to build to something else. from there. I don't think
This
I don't
isn't
think
it
Rhea's
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Rhea's leaving this match without the title.
Well, that's where I go. I think Rhea loses, but I think she loses. So if you've been paying attention, like Dominic has been helping Liv, but not on purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's always kind of worked out where Dom, throws a chair in for the other person to beat Liv, and Liv ends up getting it and using it, and she wins, right? Or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So I feel like Dominic might be trying to help Rhea in the match, and then it ultimately backfire on Rhea and have Liv get the win, and then you have Rhea questioning, did you just help her, right? I don't think this is over. I think Liv and Rhea possibly are headed to Mania. Now, how you drag this out that long, I do not know. Or to your point, we could have a Hell in a Cell match. We could have you could do something this fall to kind of top this
blow that off. Yeah.
Because my thought process is, who do we have to face Rhea and or Liv at Mania? That is of level. Do you see what I'm saying?
I thought initially, like my vision for it. Now I sound like George Lucas. My vision. My vision for a Rhea Ripley title run, like the big person that was going to come in and crush her, is going to be Jade Cargill. I mean, think about the optics of that match alone. Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. They're both titans, right? But again, draft is coming up. Like, we're or even like perhaps Jade wins the Rumble this year, challenges Rhea at WrestleMania.
Okay.
That's a potential that could happen. I could totally see that happening as well. Plus, I just want to see them both, have a match.
Go at it.
I think that would be an incredible match.
You have Charlotte coming back as well.
Charlotte, the potential of the return of Becky Lynch. It depends how long, I don't see anybody from NXT at this point. Like Julia's coming in and Stephanie Vacar and all these, like,
I think they're going to keep them in NXT for now.
Yeah. I don't see anybody really like
Roxanne could come up.
Spot. Roxanne could do it, but could she be believable? Yeah. I don't think it's going to be believable in the Mania sense. The only one that I can see now, I feel Bianca could do it, sure, but I think for the purposes of this exercise, I think as far as Mania is concerned, the purposes, listen to me, like I'm at work, like I'm at my shoe shop. For the purposes of this, yes, of course, yes, run the TPS reports. No, I think Jade is the right one for that Rhea main event or the Rhea, WrestleMania match. I think that would be really dope to see. So, but I think Rhea's going to go over in this one, and we'll see what happens with Dirty Dom after that.
Okay, so you think Rhea gets the title? I think Liv retains inadvertently through help with Dominic Mysterio by accident. We'll see. That's why I'm really curious to see where the placement of this match is, because the fact that I think Finn's going to get involved with Damian's could also play a factor with the Liv situation, especially if him and Liv are working together. So I'm like, I'm trying to figure it out.
I didn't even think about that. Finn could be involved in that, couldn't he?
Correct. Especially if he's already attacked Damian. What if he comes out and attacks Dominic or helps Liv or whatever it might be? Because you really have to kind of get moving on this Judgment Day breakup situation. Because I'm like, we've been waiting for Rhea to get back. Okay,
time is money. Now. Let's get it done.
Get things rolling. Because I think Survivor Series, there might be, Finn might be on one team, or they might do a mixed tag team match or something like that for Survivor Series, which could be fun. And again, another fun way to kind of drag this feud out. And mix it up a little bit. So we will see what happens there. But I think Liv retains. You think Rhea wins. We have Logan Paul versus LA Knight. I think we kind of already talked about it, but we both think LA Knight's winning. He better.
Yeah.
It needs to be the big feel-good win, I think, for the night. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. And then we have Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. I think Braun Breaker is going to get it, guys.
Yep, me too. I think this is his big coming out party as the Intercontinental Champion. I think they're going to give him the belt, and I think this is going to set Braun Breaker off on a nice trajectory, which ties me back to what I was saying earlier. I think that Jey Uso is the one who takes the strap off of Braun Breaker at some point. I think it's either at Bad Blood or sometime before War Games, but I think that's Jey Uso's very first singles gold for him. And no Jimmy interference, no bullshit, no gaga. Like he's the one that wins it.
Well, and if they're eventually going to, and we don't know, guys, this is all in our heads. I'm assuming Jimmy is going to need to recruit Jey Uso and Sami Zayn at some point for Survivor Series. So you really don't want to be costing him any matches anymore, probably. So in general, I feel like, to your point, I don't think there's going to be any interference whenever we do get there. But I do think Braun Breaker's winning this match against Sami. Because Sami has a lot of people gunning for him. I think that is very possible that Braun will take it. So we will see. I'll celebrate. Again, so LA Knight. So 2 title changes I'm predicting personally. The United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, I think, are both changing hands at SummerSlam. One title that won't be, though, in the main event is Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa for the undisputed WWE Championship. Cody will retain. The bigger question is,
the return of Roman Reigns
showing up in Cleveland, Ohio. What do you think, Adam?
Listen, Stephanie, we're both, hopefully, luckily, we will be in the press box together.
Yes.
At this event.
Yes.
And if there is a roof,
we can see each other's reactions, please.
For sure.
I can't.
But I know that if there is a roof on the Cleveland Browns stadium, which I believe there is, that fucker's coming off when Roman Reigns' music hits. When that freaking hits, you're gonna
see Paul Heyman show up.
The place is gonna go apoplectic. It is going to go crazy for his return,
which is crazy because we were so tired of his title reign. But then he was gone, and you're like, damn, like, and Solo sucks. Not that he sucks. I'm sorry, I didn't say sucks. Solo is cosplaying as a tribal chief, and it makes you just miss the real tribal chief more. And so it's like, now we can't wait for him to come back. And not that he necessarily needs a title for it, but we just want him to come back. I will be one in the press box losing my mind. Quick small story. At WrestleMania in the press box, WrestleMania Night 2. When you're in the press box, like, you try and be as professional as possible, right? Like, there's other media there, whatever. In the end, I'm still a fan. Okay? I'm a fan first, actually. That's I'll never apologize for that. I get emotional, I scream, I yell, I clap, I do all the things. And when Bayley won, I lost my absolute mind. I was screaming. I literally start crying. And again, I'm in the press box, like, I have fucking CBS News like next to me, like, I'm just like, and I'm bawling because this woman's worked so hard to have this singles match at WrestleMania and get her big WrestleMania win. I'm kind of hiding it because I don't want everyone to see me crying, and so I turn around to try and go to the bathroom to kind of like wipe my eyes, and I turn around and there's WWE PR guys standing right there. And I'm and I'm like, and he looks at me and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm crying. And he's like, I love it. He's like, I love it. He's like, this is what it's about. He's just like, it doesn't matter if you're in this press box or not. He's like, we want the emotion. That's the whole point, right? Like, he's like, that means you love it. You're into it. And so he's like, don't ever apologize for that. And I was kind of like, okay. And then ran to the bathroom and wiped my eyes.
That's dope. That's cool that he said that, though. Yeah.
It is. And the point is that we're all fans first. And when Roman Reigns returns, I think a lot of us have been missing him. He's a superstar. He's a huge no, he's more than a superstar. He's the superstar. And
he is the guy in the company. Yeah, like the
piece
guy
missing from SmackDown when he's not on it. And I think a lot of people will just be very excited, not only for his return, but kind of see what direction this is, right? Because he left a heel. We all wanted Cody to get it. Cody got it. Now we miss him. And not that we miss him as champion, but we just miss him around.
In general. Yeah.
He's going to get a face reaction. So now I'm just more curious as to how they book him, what his character's like. The character, again, sometimes you change and grow your character, what that's going to be when he returns. So sound off if you guys want. Is Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam? And are we all going to be screaming our lungs off? Screaming our lungs out, I should say. But Cody's definitely retaining. I don't know. Some people have said they kind of want Cody and Roman to shake hands. Whatever. I don't know if we're there yet. Like some things need to be talked about or said between Cody and Roman before that happens.
For sure. Yeah.
So I don't think that will happen at SummerSlam, but I think it's very possible if Roman returns, you end up with Roman and Cody just staring at each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't really know what
it
is.
It's
right?
almost so. It's almost like the idea of Roman and Cody aligning is more like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. Yeah. Roman is after one singular purpose, right? And again, I'll leave you with this little tidbit before we wrap up here.
Yeah.
Roman is after one singular purpose, one singular thing.
Yep.
The tribal chief title.
Yep.
That's his thing, right? And to the level that they had a couple of matches to determine who would hold the title of tribal chief, right?
Yeah.
That was the whole intertwining story with Jey Uso.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock is still out there somewhere.
Oh, shit. I forgot about
The Rock, the final boss, is still out there somewhere.
The Rock.
And we still haven't gotten our Roman Reigns Rock WrestleMania match. So I think this builds to the story that Rock is behind Solo Sikoa saying that he is the tribal chief. The Rock is behind bringing in Tama Tonga and Tangaloa rather, and Jacob Fatu. And now apparently there's someone else that potentially is coming in, if you believe that, the rumor
was that
window out there.
Haiku, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I think they copyrighted Tala Tonga as his name.
I'm gonna get all these names confused, guys. I'm just letting you
know. We're just I'm gonna butcher them.
Tonga, Laga, just
Tonga,
all the T's.
Togo, Yoko. Shit, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Which one's Yoko Ono? Yeah. But I think that they're going to build to that, and that's where the alliance really starts. That's really when you start to see Roman Reigns becoming like the face, right? Because now we want him to be the tribal chief. We want him to be the winner. We want to acknowledge him, as opposed to us being the shitbird
the
heel
Rock
about it.
Saying,
like,
no, you're going to acknowledge Solo.
You're going to acknowledge.
No.
You're fucking with the final boss, and no one's better than me, and acknowledge me as whatever the high chief title they gave him. I can't remember the exact title, but
yeah,
that's where I think this is going. And I think that's going to that hand's going to be revealed probably sometime around Survivor Series, maybe the Rumble. And then that's where the big buildup happens to, Rock and Roman.
Mania.
I think that's going to be spectacular. So well worth the wait, I'm sure. But
I'm excited. SummerSlam is going to be awesome. We will not have a show next week. As I said, myself and Adam will actually both be in Cleveland, Ohio, enjoying the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and at SmackDown most likely. So but thank you for joining us. Obviously,
of course.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, y'all, but we got it together. And obviously have a great weekend. Adam, where can they find you throughout the week if they just want to watch you in all your glory?
I appreciate that, Stephanie. Thank you again so much for having me, and you and the good folks over at Body Slam. I appreciate you bringing me back. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on Threads as well at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand, pal. So you can follow me all there and keep up to date with everything I have going on. You can also go to youtube.com/@foundationradiopod. That's where all of my content from SummerSlam is going to be landing. Any of the media scrum. Luckily, if Stephanie and I will be able to be in there, that's where all that stuff will be being uploaded. And then I usually do a vlog about the weekend as well. So all that stuff is going to be right there. Plus, you can watch all of my previous episodes of Foundation Radio there. I'm starting to upload some video episodes, and almost all of my audio content is there now. So go and check that out. You can also listen to my show, Mind of the Meanie, with former WWE superstar and ECW original, The Blue Meanie. We do shows every Monday morning. So you can check us out there wherever you get your favorite podcast, and also check out my articles at bodyslam.net. I have a lot of good stuff coming up. Hopefully I'll have some time to write after SummerSlam, but yeah, I appreciate you having me here, Stephanie. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you in Cleveland.
Of course. And y'all know where to find me at Stephanie Hypes on X, on Instagram, on whatever. I'm everywhere. But I want to be everywhere, but I am. Follow me. Same. I will be posting all over my digital channels, content, just keeping up, showing you guys everything that's going on, just fan experience stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. And obviously continue to send your suggestions in for places to eat. I've gotten some great ones. I think Alex as well. So I retweeted Alex's tweet. Just saying I was about to post the exact same question, so we'll just go ahead and get retweet this and get more suggestions. So we've already gotten a ton, and we don't have that much time to eat. So we'll definitely try as much as we can. But thank you guys so much for joining us tonight for Know Your Role, Body Slam Net. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you when we get back from Cleveland, and hopefully we'll be acknowledging Tribal Chief again. Thanks,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.